Hello everyone and welcome back. If this is your first time joining, welcome. I hope you all have been having a fabulous September, and if you are working with a garden at home, I hope that your garden has been plentiful and harvesting this month has been really fun for you. I am always so excited to be out here in the garden recording another video with you all, and especially today because it is Friday, September 22nd, and it is actually the first day of autumn. I am here in the backyard at the end of this Friday with another michelada to celebrate a few things. Today actually marks the end of my second week at a new job, and so I'm celebrating that. Kyle and I are also heading out of town tomorrow for the week to go down to California and look at some wedding venues, which is really exciting. We're gonna get to see my family and his family, and it'll be the first time that we will all have met like together. His parents and my parents have met, but Kyle and I have never been there with them all, so it's gonna be a really fun week. And another thing that we are celebrating / commemorating today is that this video actually marks the last garden tour that we are going to be doing, because we are actually moving. So this will be the last month that we're here at our current apartment, and probably the last month that I'll be able to come and do a garden tour here with this specific garden. Kyle and I are very excited to be moving into a bigger place. We've been in our current apartment for about 5 years now, so we're very excited for the additional space. And of course, I'm super excited that in addition to a lot more room, the place that we're moving into also has a really nice backyard area for gardening. But yeah, so it's bittersweet. We're very excited for the new opportunities and what's coming next in our future, but it's always really sad to leave some place that has been really special and meaningful for you for such a long time. I have so many fond memories of this garden and have learned so much through this garden specifically. We've really enjoyed our time in this space, and one thing that over the last few years I've come to learn about myself is that I am a very place-based person. For me, my connections and like strong memories that are connected to a specific place are very important to me, and so it's particularly hard, I've found, for me to let go of certain places, like if we're selling a home or moving, for instance. I find myself very connected to land in that way. So yes, it's the ending of one chapter and the beginning of a new one. Another thing that is awesome about our new apartment is that it's actually on the same street we're on now. It's like literally right around the corner, which is super awesome for us. Kyle and I, in addition to loving our apartment that we currently have, we also really love the neighborhood. We really love the walkability of our neighborhood and how close it is to the park that's right by our house. So we're very excited to be able to stay in the neighborhood. So today, just in the spirit of, closing this chapter of our time with this garden, in addition to taking you all around to like check in and see what things are looking like, I wanted to spend some time just talking about different reflections of things that have been coming up for me as we've been in this kind of transitionary period, getting prepared to move into the new place. Beyond just the obvious transition of moving from one apartment to another, I've been thinking a lot about kind of the symbolic nature of this period in my life and the transitions that are going on in general. As I've talked about before, in June I finished grad school. I've been in grad school for the last 3 years, so that was a very big change. That period of my life I always knew was going to be significant, given that grad school is a big deal. It's difficult and stressful and fun, but yeah, I always knew that it was going to be like a fun chapter, but it ended up being quite transitional for me in so many other ways, with losing both of my grandmas within a year span in June of 2021 and then June of 2022, and then this June in 23 I graduated. In April Kyle and I got engaged, so that is like opening us up to the next chapter of our lives together in our relationship. I am grateful to have found a new job that I started a couple weeks ago. We're moving into this new apartment. So in so many ways, this really has just been like such a transitional period of my life, and part of my spiritual practice and my kind of mental health self-care practices involves taking time during transitional stages like this to really pause and reflect on all the growth and all of the chaos, the healing, everything that's like gone on during that period, and like really savor it and mark the significance of like what that transition actually means. And so that's why today I'm gonna do a normal garden kind of walkthrough. It's getting a little late tonight, so I might actually just end up doing that tomorrow, depending on how long the chatting portion of this video takes. But I really did want to just spend some time this month to going over some reflections that I've had and things that have come up for me around the garden, and beautiful metaphors from the garden that have been popping up for me, and just have a nice little chat, a little more than we normally do. Oh, you can see Luka down there. Do you see a little guy? Luka. He's been doing this lately. He gets in the garden bed. Okay, I'm gonna go grab him. All right, y'all, here we are, starting off the last garden tour for this place. It is the next day from when I shot the intro and chit-chat part of this video. And as far as the second day of fall goes, this is pretty spot on. It's very gray today, whereas it's been pretty sunny lately, so it's definitely fall. And here's your little guy. I did this in my first video, my first garden video. There was a little Luka here. So long ago, buddy. All right, well, we are almost done packing, getting ready to head out on our trip. So coming out here to shoot this is one of the last things on my to-do list. I wish I could say that I had spent a lot of time out here in the last month since the last video, but I haven't really, so there hasn't been much that we've done. These are the Leotris flowers, little seeds. I've said this before, but it's really cute. Sometimes the juncos that are a really common bird we have in the backyard here will come and like just sit on this and pick the seeds off. And it's so funny because you could tell they're just so light that they can just balance on this little flower. Here are some of our asters. I'm pretty sure that's what these are. These are the ones that are purple. And you can see none of them have opened up yet. And I think last year this was like October is when those really came out. There's a few asters down here, but they're kind of crowded out. It's like gladiolus is falling on top of it. All the gladiolus flowers are done at this point. I actually rewatched a lot of my old garden videos this last month, specifically the September one. And like I've said this before, that one of the main things these videos are really helpful with is allowing me to like look back from previous years and say, oh, when were things blooming and this and that. And for instance, I rewatched the video from last September and noticed that at this point last year, this Thomas Edison dahlia had like multiple flowers blooming at the same time, whereas like now we've got some. This is maybe like the third one that's bloomed. So I think cutting it back the way that we did this year maybe will lead to the flowering time being extended this year. Like maybe the flowers will keep blooming longer than they normally do, but they're also opening a lot later than they did last year. So just something that I noticed. Also in the video from last year I saw that at this point we still had a few of the gladiolas left, and like one or two that hadn't even opened yet, so those also came and went earlier this year. As far as what we're gonna do before we move out, I think I'll come through and cut down the dead stuff, maybe just do a good trim of like the stuff that really doesn't need to be here. So like, I'll probably try and get rid of some of those, maybe cut back like the hosta flowers just to make it look nicer. Not sure about the honeysuckle. My dad told me that technically anything that's in the ground you're supposed to leave, but we never actually took the honeysuckle out of its pot down here. I'm sure the roots have now grown into the soil beneath it, but we'll have to see. I know the hummingbirds really love it, so maybe we'll leave it here for them. They also would love to bring it with us. What I could do at a minimum is just try and take some cuttings to propagate it, so maybe I will do that. Over here, not sure if we're gonna bring this box here. We did buy it, but I mean, we'll see. We're also fine like leaving some things. The shed, we're gonna see if our landlord is okay keeping it. Otherwise, we'll probably just like give it away on next door or something. The garden bed, just all the tomatoes, the cucumber has some new growth at the top here. Like we've got a cucumber there. I'll probably pick that before we leave. But another cool thing that I learned from rewatching the September garden video from last year is that this time last year the cucumber was looking pretty similar to this. The bottom had started to die back already, and so that was just really reassuring because I couldn't remember when it had started to do that and was, you know, worried like, was it something we had done? But it seems like that was the normal timing for it. All these peppers, jalapenos, all these little guys are coming with us. The little archway. I am definitely going to miss having this rosemary here. We'll have to plant some more at the new place. And that mint that's in there. Kyle had taken some of this mint and replanted it over here along the side of the yard. Okay, you can ignore the crows. Oh. Because we get a lot of thistles. This is a thistle that grow along here, and we've tried over the years to really pull them out and keep a hold on them. So Kyle thought that planting the mint would be nice because mint obviously is very it's a very fast and strong grower. It can fill all kinds of places and like crowd out other plants. So yeah, it's crazy how much it's taken off since he just kind of threw it over there. I'm not sure what all these plants are, these flowers. We had one in here. I think that's what this was. It already died back. I'm not sure what that is though. The basil and eggplants. And the shishito peppers. The zucchini. I think we kind of gave up on it. It's got some flowers, some little fruities down there, but yeah, we'll see. All of these potted plants will be coming with us. And I told Kyle, I think I really want to come through and clean out these flower beds because I'm sure all of the grass and other stuff that's in here is making it really cramped for the roots of the blueberry, and maybe it would have grown more and been more fruitful this year if it had a little bit more space in there. Oh, those are all the seeds. Oops. But look how beautiful it is, this color. Oh my gosh. Such a beautiful fall red. The pear tree. All right. Look at it. It's looking a little haggard, but that's all right. We love it. Lots of great memories here. We've got our second umbrella up. And that is a tree that I think a squirrel planted in our neighbor's side of the yard. It's gotten so big. I wonder if our landlord's gonna do anything about that as well. The magnolia. Oh, I never pulled this thing out, whatever this is. So we'll get around to that before we move it. Maybe I'll just get some more footage like this. Don't necessarily need my talking. These lights came with the place. Well, similar lights came. Over the years we've replaced them with plastic ones because we've had glass ones that sometimes, like when it's really windy and if the umbrella falls, then they'll break. And anyway, so we're gonna leave those, but they're such nice ambiance, so we'll definitely get some more for the new place. I'm gonna make sure to fill this little water dish before we head out. Okay, and then this is what this area is looking like. Yeah, the hosta's nice and big. The ferns are looking great, and I'll have to come and see if there are any begonia bulbs down there, but maybe we'll never know what happened to those. This vinca, I think is what it's called, yeah, has taken over nicely since we planted it. Oh, little flower right there. I think that'll be a nice one to leave. And the strawberry plants, oh my gosh, look, someone was digging under it. And that one popped off. Oh, it's right here. Let's see. Me. All right. I haven't decided what I want to do with these. Oh wow, some of these are looking pretty dead. This was from a squirrel. Our cucumbers, some of them like kind of went yellow before we were able to pick them, and we've just been leaving them out for the squirrelies. We see them back here chomping on them a lot. Hopefully that's okay. Hopefully cucumbers aren't bad for squirrels. But yeah, look, that one's got a flower in there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we'll just have to see what we end up deciding to do with the strawberries. I might take, yeah, I'm not sure. Take that one inside, put it in the freezer. And so a lot of this stuff is going to end up coming with us, like the chimenea. This rocking chair is broken. The wood split on the side, but I think it's something that I could easily fix. So we're going to bring that to my bike, obviously. And then we're not sure how we're going to move the pallet bench. Maybe just try and like take it apart so that it's a little bit smaller and move it that way. But I think we'll be bringing all of this like furniture, all of these potted plants. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, all these potted plants we'll be taking with us. The eucalyptus and the camellia. There are a couple camellias in the yard at our new place, which I'm excited about. And the irises, I never did get around to moving those. All right, y'all. Well, I think that about does it. I think that about wraps it up for this garden tour and our time with this garden. It's been so nice getting to learn and experiment and grow alongside all the plants back here. It's been a really fun process over the last few years, and I'm excited to continue that process in a new place, and also so grateful for all of you that have followed along and show your support and enthusiasm. I think with that, I'm gonna head inside and get ready for us to head out on our trip. I can't remember now if this will be the end of the video or if I'll cut back to the chit-chatty part, but anyway, thanks for tuning in. Bring this little guy inside and put it in the freezer. All right, take care. So in line with this idea of like really savoring this transitional period and all the memories that we have here in this apartment and this garden, one thing that kind of interestingly came about this year that we didn't really plan is that for the first time, Kyle and I have experimented a little bit more with making preserves, which is something that I think is very common for folks who do garden, is making things like jams or jellies or sauces or pickling things, whatever. Preserving is a really great way to take your harvest and keep it for a much longer period of time. But it's something that I have never really experimented with and don't really have a lot of experience with, and was always something that like I wanted to get to eventually, but it just kind of naturally came about this year that we ended up trying a couple new preserving recipes for the first time, which was super cool. I ended up harvesting a bunch of our hot peppers, the jalapenos, and the Anaheims I think I used, and then some bell peppers as well, to make a hot pepper jelly, and to tie that back with the like metaphor of preserving our experiences and our memories. I think it'll be kind of fun to take some of the preserves from literally the fruit that like grew here and being able to like bring that with us into our future home, so that when I'm eating the pepper jelly, for instance, it'll be like, wow, these, not only did I grow these myself, but like they were grown in the soil of this place that was so special to me for so many years. Okay, it is getting dark, so I'm probably not going to do the rest of the garden tour tonight, but when I do, something that I'll kind of circle back to is another thing I've been thinking about that is like a motto of mine, definitely not a motto I created, but Kyle and I, even as renters, have kind of always been firm believers in leaving any place that we're in better than how we found it. And so I have also really enjoyed being able to grow this garden out here so that it will be a better and more enjoyable place for the people who come after us. As renters, there's actually only so much responsibility that you have to provide upkeep to your yard or to your home, your apartment, like a lot of stuff that's one of the appeals of renting is that a lot of that stuff a lot of that stuff is something that the landlord handles, right? Like it's not something that you need to take on yourself. And Kyle and I have really enjoyed learning more about housekeeping and I don't know what the term is, handy work, like building things, fixing things, in addition to gardening during the years that we've been here. And we've been so grateful and fortunate to be in a place where we've been able to have space to do that explorative stuff. Okay, I got a little sidetracked because I had to go grab Luca again, but yeah, just to wrap up that last line of thought, I think leaving it better than you found it is something that I think is so important to keep with you regardless of the setting, whether it's your job or your home or your garden or where you're camping or whatever it is. I think it's a mentality that in a lot of ways maybe humans have lost, and clearly we wouldn't be able to cause the level of environmental degradation that has led to climate change. We wouldn't have been able to do all that if we hadn't lost this sense of connection and stewardship of the land, that, you know, somehow we ended up here, and like the least we can do is take care of it, you know, and not make it worse. And so I just think that that's something that's like so important. And not only have I been thinking about that a bit, like in this period as we're getting ready to leave and looking at how much nicer I think the garden is now than when we moved in, but the bigger picture of how that kind of mentality is very important in a larger sense. My parents were here in at the beginning of this month, which is really fun. I love when they come and visit, and they gifted me a bottle of Bloody Mary mix, which, yeah, if you don't know that about me, I love Bloody Mary mix. Another thing that I realized I don't think I've ever even talked about yet in my garden videos is what the heck my name Seeds of Pneuma even means. So back in I think it was 2021, like so many people during the height of COVID, I found myself wanting to explore some new hobbies, and as a unemployed student in grad school, I was also looking for some ways that I could make a little extra money on the side. I started a little Etsy shop called PNEUMA, where I sell like jewelry, earrings and necklaces and some other little things. For instance, these are a pair that I've made, available on my Etsy shop now. The word pneuma is one that I found through a Tool song, and Tool is one of my favorite bands. But pneuma is a Greek word that, my understanding is, it's very similar to the ideas of like prana in Sanskrit, or the idea of like chi. It's basically the life force energy. Pneuma specifically is, I think the definition is like the breath of life. So if you think of the root of pneuma being the same as like the root of pneumonia, it has to do with like air and breath. This idea of the breath of life, the aspect of like breathing that makes you alive. For all the other Harry Potter fans out there, I picture like the Dementors and how when they perform their kiss, like especially how they portrayed it in the movies, they like suck the life out of you, and then like, I guess in the books, technically you don't die when that happens, but like you're basically dead because your soul, your spirit is gone. That's kind of how I picture it. And side note, shout out to all the other lifelong Harry Potter fans out there like me who are obsessed with Harry Potter and just so fucking furious that JK Rowling ended up being such a like transphobic piece of shit. I think like a lot of Harry Potter fans, I'm quite conflicted about. Not the fact that she's a jerk, she's an asshole and bigoted, but that I still really love Harry Potter. So okay, so PNEUMA broadly is like the name of my Etsy shop, and I wanted to call this channel Seeds of PNEUMA because for me, even though the Etsy shop is right now just like selling earrings and things, I wanted a name that was broad enough to encompass a variety of different things. And so for instance, like this channel, I chose the name Seeds of Pneuma, even though it's like hard to pronounce and confusing because you probably don't know what it means, because like I liked the kind of metaphor of like seeds of pneuma, seeds of like life, you know what I mean? And gardening, as I've talked about before, is more than just like a fun hobby for me. Like connection with nature and stewardship of the land is part of like my spiritual practice, and so I thought that the name Seeds of Pneuma kind of embodied that sense of like life seeds, spirit seeds, seeds of the soul, stuff like that. All right, well, my michelada is just about empty, and it is getting quite a bit dark now. For that reason and others, I think I'm gonna wrap up this chatting part of the video. I'm all about like the synchronicities of things. So for example, the fact that like this was the last day I'd be able to do one of these chats before I leave on vacation. The fact that it's also like the fall equinox, which is normally a time I would spend doing something a little special just to honor that transitional period for the planet and like for us as people living on this planet and in this solar system. I have come to know fall as like a very nostalgic time where, you know, we are at the same time harvesting a lot of things that we've like put energy into and have grown, and are also watching things that have done their time like fade away and fall away, and like letting go of things that, you know, we don't need anymore, so that in the future we can grow new things. It's a very beautiful symbolic time, and it's not lost on me that like today is that day, literally. But as you know, sad that I am to be leaving this place, I am just so excited about the future and the potential that this new place is going to offer for us. It's big enough that like Kyle and I could stay there, I mean, God, until we're ready to buy a house, whenever that'll be with like the current housing market. But also like it has space for us to, you know, have children. Like we could stay there until we have our first kid, you know. It's just really exciting like potential for the future, and I'm really excited to honor this like transitional time, and to really savor all of the time that we have left in this garden, and all of the things that we've learned from it, and all of the happy memories that we have with it. And I'm also excited about the potential that like having a larger space will create for both of us. Like we're gonna have so much room to you know, do things that like are interesting to me. Like back in 2018, 2019, which was when we first moved into this apartment, I was taking a year-long, or like a 10-month-long permaculture design course here in Portland through the Planet Repair Institute City Repair Project. I think those are the two like collabs. I'll link them in the video, but it was like such a special time for me, and definitely was like the catalyst for when I took my like spiritual admiration for nature and for land, and like really started to combine it with like a practical knowledge of like gardening and plant tending, and paying attention to like the ecosystem and animals and things like that. And during that time I also was when I started to learn more about herbalism and medicinal plants, and that's something that like I've been over the last few years like learning more about and experimenting with, and is one thing that like I'll have so much more space to do in our new place. Like there's so many jars in our fridge right now that are like hydrosols I've made, or you know, face cream, or this or that, and it's like I have to keep them in the fridge, but then it like makes our fridge really, really cluttered for food, you know. And we're like super excited to have more space to like expand some of these hobbies and like lifestyle practices that are like really meaningful for us. And for me, I think I'm excited for the space that will allow to grow even this channel, and like being able to expand beyond just garden videos, but like other kind of lifestyle homesteading. I know that can be like a trigger word for some folks, so I'm sorry, but like more of like a lifestyle channel where it's like the essence of gardening and what that means spiritually, but like how you're doing that in other aspects of your life. It's something Kyle and I have been doing now for a few years, but I haven't been able to like capture for the channel. And as I was mentioning with the name of PNEUMA, I picked it because I wanted it to be like a more broad thing and a more all-encompassing thing. I didn't want the name for this like YouTube channel to be so specific to gardening that like it wouldn't fit in with that larger theme. And so I'm excited that like it seems like maybe, you know, we're gonna have the potential to actually do that and like grow this channel a little bit more, content-wise at least. I mean, I don't know how to grow like viewers and subscribers, but feel free to share this video and subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, I'm like super excited about all that, and yeah, just excited in general. Lots of new stuff. I'm not sure, I'm recording this all in one sitting. I'm not sure if this will be at the beginning of the video, the end. Maybe I'll like break it up, but I hope you all have a nice night and a fabulous fall equinox if you commemorate that, if you celebrate that. May the season spirits be with you. And yeah, if this is the ending, I guess I'll see you next month. I'll see you in our new place. So, okay, take care. Bye.